This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning, but we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 27th of May, 2022, and I am AX.
I am Bispo.
And I am GK. In case you missed the headlines, here they are. The Daily Nation, simple. The Martha Effect.
Amen.
The Standard, RUTO, forgive me.
Nope.
The Star, Raila Ruto in fiery battle for 50+1, and the People Daily, Raila Ruto row on land reform.
Ooh.
So before we get into the headlines for today, allow me to give you guys my submission for the day. Yesterday, during the annual National Prayer Breakfast, DP Ruto took the opportunity that he was given to apologize to the public for any wrongs that he has caused. Here's the clip.
To the great people of the Republic of Kenya, I know we have tried our best. We may not have done as much as you would have expected of us. We have failed you in some areas. We have not been as united as we should have been. We have failed in some areas. We ask, and specifically myself, I ask for your forgiveness.
But we here at the Fort Hall School of Government were not convinced by his apology. In fact, we would like to suggest that the apology was more opportunistic than it was genuine. This being the case, we would like to give the DP 3 steps on how to make a genuine apology.
Oh my God.
Step 1, be sincere. Actions speak louder than words. People actually need to believe that you mean what you say. But looking at the actions of the DP, it is evident that the Ruto is the king of doublespeak. He says one thing when it suits him and another when it does not. For instance, one day he says that the inland depot in Naivasha was good, and on the another day he says that he will close it and take business back to Mombasa. On one hand, he tells us that he advocates for the rights of squatters. But then we discover that criticos gave him, allegedly, 2,500 acres of land that was meant for said squatters. Or how he spent the past year bashing BBI, only to turn around and promise his allies parts of BBI.
Preach.
We're even surprised that he has not reneged on his biggest blunder yet, picking Gachagua as his running mate when all along he had promised it to Kithure Kindiki. So excuse us when we did not find his apology sincere. Step 2, do not use a national platform as sacred as the National Prayer Breakfast to further your own cause. And if you must do so, at least do so cleverly. This is not even the first time he has done such a thing. Remember that during the funeral of President Kibaki, Ruto also took the opportunity to insult the president, his boss, and further, his own cause. And then just a month later, he asks that same president for forgiveness despite making the president's second term a living hell. I ask again, was this apology sincere?
No, it was not.
Step 3, do not ask for forgiveness. Give justice. Molly Andrews once said that justice, not forgiveness, is needed when one is unjustly treated. And what justice demands is some mixture of punishment and compensation. And so, if Ruto is sincere, he should prove it in more than just words. Like this. In 2019, at the same prayer breakfast, President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga shook hands again and spoke about the process of forgiveness. But what was more important is that they immediately instituted plans to correct the wrongs of the past. They sought action. Here, at the Fort Hall School of Government, we have repeatedly stated that William Ruto was head boy in the Moi School of Politics. And yesterday, we were treated to another example of this fact. In fact, the Ruto apology reminded us of the Moi apology that was made as he ended his term in 2002. Here is the clip.
Na kama yuko mtu ambaye nimesema chochote ambaye kimeumiza roho yake unisamehe.
Just as vague and just as insincere. Anyways, I hope that Kenyans are listening.
Wow. Okay, so Today, I would like to tell you about the trial of the century. The People versus O.J. Simpson.
Oh, very divisive trial.
Indeed. Between 1995 and 1996, Orenthal James Simpson, or O.J. Simpson,
that's his name.
That's his full name, a famous American football player, was tried for the murder of his former wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. Over the course of 9 weeks, the prosecution demonstrated how O.J. had a history of domestic violence against his ex-wife, going as far as to threaten her life. And they showed the jury over 100 pieces of DNA evidence, including 61 drops of blood that linked O.J. to the scene of the crime and to the crime itself. Despite this damning evidence, O.J. was found not guilty. All because of a pair of black gloves. The same gloves that were found at the crime scene and in O.J.'s home. The defense knew how damning this particular piece of evidence could be and sought to neutralize its impact. How? By having O.J. wear the gloves worn by the killer in front of the jury. The defense declared that, and I quote, "If the gloves don't fit, we must acquit." A risky move indeed. And yet it paid off. To everyone's surprise, including my own, Simpson seemed to struggle with the gloves. The gloves did not fit, and as per the words of O.J.'s lawyers, O.J. was acquitted. What is my point here? Those black leather gloves were O.J.'s silver bullet. And this is a story about how to evade the killing blow of a silver bullet. The term silver bullet is a metaphor for a simple, seemingly magical solution to a difficult problem. A good example of this is penicillin. But an even better example is Martha Karua. Martha Karua is William RUTO's silver bullet, and he knows it. As soon as she joined Ryla's ticket, Ryla's popularity rose by 7%, RUTO's popularity fell by 4%, and UDA's popularity fell to below 30% for the first time since November 2021. This is the Martha Karua silver bullet in action, or, as the Daily Nation has said, the Martha Karua effect. And this silver bullet is aimed squarely at the chest of the Wolf of Segoy. So, if you're William RUTO, how do you evade this silver bullet? You take a page from O.J. Simpson. You co-opt your silver bullet. Might this be the reason why RUTO invited Martha Karua to speak at the prayer breakfast yesterday? Was this an attempt to neutralize Martha Karua?
I don't know if it was successful.
It wasn't.
Or to co-opt her upward trajectory for his own? I ask because that move, which is breaking protocol to invite your opponent to speak to the nation, has made RUTO appear magnanimous and stately. It was also sneaky and devious. But as Ms. Pope correctly pointed out, RUTO failed in his plan. He failed to co-opt his silver bullet. Despite being unprepared, Karua, speaking after RUTO, spoke on the hypocrisy of our politicians. She reminded our leaders that prayers and the words that animate them are nothing without action.
Absolutely.
So as RUTO prays for forgiveness, what has he done to change his ways? As RUTO promises land reform, what has he done to make you believe he will follow through? So, instead of co-opting the trajectory of the Martha Karua bullet, RUTO instead refined it, merely emphasizing the target on his chest. Now, if I may offer some unsolicited advice to Mr. Bwana Asifewe himself, it would be this. Have you tried ducking? Have you?
Wow. You know, that quote is one of my favorite quotes of pop culture. If the glove don't fit, it must acquit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. And indeed, forgiveness is not just words, really. It's actions. And so I would like to ask a question. Are the actions of William RUTO an indication that he has already lost the 2022 election even before a single vote has been cast? I ask this because an excellent general wins the war before he goes to battle. And every battle is won before it is ever fought. Now, in his book, How to Lose a Battle, Foolish Plans and Great Military Blunders, Bill Fawcett features a number of bad generals and military incompetence. And one such general was a Roman commander by the name Varus. Publius Varus was a Roman general who took his own life following his disastrous defeat by the Germans. He committed grave errors that guaranteed his loss. But the one I'll focus on today is overconfidence. So Varus was so sure that the Romans would win no matter what happened, based on the proficiency of the Roman army. So on the day of battle, when it rained cats and dogs, Varus did not change his military tactics. even though he should have.
Yeah.
The rain broke his formation and opened up the Roman army to attacks on all sides. As the Romans fought, Varus watched his army fall apart. Some of his men surrendered and deserted the fight, while others died. Utterly broken himself, he ended his life. But it was not the battle that killed him. It was his overconfidence.
Yes.
Almost every mistake he made can be attributed to this one character flaw. Now, what is my point here? Like Varus, has William RUTO been overconfident? He began by campaigning alone for 5 years.
On the top of vehicles.
Exactly, when no one else was in the race. And this gave him false confidence as he was leading in the polls, even the fake ones. But when Raila Odinga joined the race, things began to change. When Raila picked Martha Karua as his running mate, the ground completely shifted, especially in Gema.
Absolutely.
Is Baba na Mama the reign that RUTO did not anticipate? Like General Varus, who acted like a conqueror when he was not, William RUTO has acted like a co-president when he was principal assistant.
Yes.
His overconfidence is the reason why he tried to ambush Karua to give a speech at the prayer breakfast yesterday. And it didn't work
Yes.
because Martha seized the opportunity and stole the show.
Absolutely.
Yes.
His overconfidence is why RUTO selected a carbon copy of himself in the name of a running mate. And this choice might cost him the presidency. Every time Gachagua opens his mouth to speak, the Kenya Kwisha Alliance loses votes.
Absolutely.
This man only sounds intelligent when he has his mouth shut. Only God knows how many votes he would have lost if he was the one ambushed to give a speech. Now, I will end with some unsolicited advice to Mr. RUTO. With only 73 days to August 9th, there is a lesson to learn from Pablas Varus. Overconfidence leads to serious miscalculations, which leads to a disastrous defeat. Perhaps it's time to go back to the drawing board before it's too late.
I think it is too late. But anyways, we have a 3-part criteria that we use to judge the headlines for you. We ask ourselves these 3 questions. Number 1, is the headline topical or speculative? Is it repetitive or groundbreaking? And finally, is it thoughtful or just plain lazy? So I'll reread the headlines for you. The Daily Nation, the Martha effect. The Standard, RUTO, forgive me. The Star, Raila RUTO in fiery battle for 50+1, and the People Daily, Raila RUTO row on land reform. So I think it is very clear and obvious to me that the winning headline is none other than the Daily Nation. It is simple, it's very clear, and it's a fact. As you said, AX, the effect has been immediate. You immediately saw the decline of RUTO and the growth of Raila Odinga. So can we all agree that the Daily Nation has a winning headline?
Yes.
Okay, so as we conclude, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that like button. We're also on your TV screens. Find us on Pang Free to Air, GoTV, and Star Times. I will leave you with a quote from the Iron Lady herself, Iron Martha, which was said recently. And it's very simple. Love your country enough to do the right thing. Thank you very much and have a blessed weekend.
Bye.